Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today's video is about the cell cycle and cellular reproduction. Throughout this video, I will ask you questions to get your brains thinking, and I encourage you to pause and try to answer them yourself. Did you know there have been organisms living on Earth for over 3.5 billion years? Isn't that incredible? That means that there was life on Earth only about 1 billion years after the initial formation of the planet. At the time, these were only single-celled organisms that lived in very harsh early Earth conditions. But look at us humans now, billions of years later, each of us made up of trillions of cells. How did we get here? How did we go from single-celled organisms living in a harsh early Earth environment to an Earth teeming with life everywhere we look? Pause the video and brainstorm some ideas. The answer is cellular reproduction, and it is absolutely crucial for life to persist. It is essential for growth, development, and maintenance of all living organisms. So what is cellular reproduction? Again, I challenge you to pause the video and give it a try. Cellular reproduction is the cell's process of division, where an old cell divides into new cells to form the next generation. Before this occurs, the cell needs to grow and prepare, and once it divides, the process happens all over again. This repeating process is called the cell cycle. The cell cycle is divided into three main stages. Do you know what they are? The three main stages of the cell cycle are interphase, mitosis, and cytokinesis. As a cell progresses through this cycle, it grows, replicates its DNA, and then divides into two daughter cells. Interphase is the longest stage of the cell cycle, where the cell performs its normal functions while it prepares for division by growing and replicating its DNA. It is further divided into three stages: G1, or gap1, S, or synthesis, and G2, or gap2. In the G1 stage, the cell is in its first growth stage, where it prepares for DNA replication. In the S stage, the cell replicates its DNA by duplicating each chromosome. This stage is an important focus for the study of genetics. When DNA is being duplicated, there are many possible errors that can occur when copying our genes, and these are what can lead to mutations. Then, in G2, the cell prepares for division by synthesizing the necessary proteins and organelles required to supply two daughter cells. So let's do a quick recap. In which stage does the cell cycle prepare to replicate its DNA? Is it G1, S, or G2? If you said G1 of interphase, great job. The gap1 stage of interphase is directly before the synthesis phase, which is where the cell is replicating its DNA. Next after interphase comes mitosis. Mitosis is further divided into four phases: prophase, metaphase, anaphase, and telophase, or PMAT for short. In prophase, a compact mixture of DNA and proteins called chromatin condenses to become visible chromosomes. Each chromosome has two sister chromatids that are duplicates of each other formed in the S stage of interphase. In metaphase, spindle fibers line up the chromosomes at the center of the cell, with each sister chromatid attached to an opposite pole. In anaphase, the sister chromatids are broken apart and begin to be pulled towards opposite poles so that we have duplicated DNA on either side of the cell. Finally, in telophase, the chromatids arrive at the opposite poles and begin to decondense. A new nucleus begins to form around each new set of chromosomes as the cell prepares to split. To complete the cell cycle, the last step is cytokinesis. This is when the cell splits into two daughter cells. They finally pinch off of each other at what is called a cleavage furrow. So now in the end, we have two new daughter cells that can each begin the cycle once again and produce daughter cells of their own. So let's do a quick quiz about what we just learned. Pause the video and give these questions a try. Lastly, we have a tricky question to test your understanding. Scenario: Steve had an error in DNA replication, causing a mutation in one of his cells. At what point of the cell cycle did this occur? If you answered the S stage of interphase, well done. As I mentioned before, errors in DNA replication can cause mutations, and DNA replication occurs during the S phase of the cell cycle. And that is it, everyone. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I would appreciate if you left a comment on the video with some feedback so I can improve on the next ones. Thank you very much and good luck with your studies.